Hey everyone, I just finished my John Maxwell training with Roddy, and you never have a day off when you're business building or when you have your own business. You're always out there looking for jobs, applying, trying to get your videos done, your networking, whatever it is. So for me this morning, I joined the training with him. And I made my notes. I don't always comment on his posts, but I make my notes. I have a notebook, and I bought a new one for this year because they fill up fairly quickly. But this is my notebook. It's just from the Dollarama. You can pick one up. And so every week when he's talking, I'm listening, I'm taking notes, I'm seeing how I can apply what he's teaching in my business building. Because ultimately, as a Maxwell speaker, obviously my goal is to have an income coming in and to make money off of what I'm doing, not just to be giving away my work, giving away my skills and my knowledge. It's to build a business and to get an income from doing what I love and using my faith skills as well. So for today, I did another chapter of this book, 21 Qualities of Leaders in the Bible, and it's focusing on both men and women. And today's sections were on the book of Esther and her courage. The first section is Esther 3, 8 to 11. The next one is Esther 4, 1, 4 to 7, 9 to 13, 15 to 16, and then Esther 5, 1 to 3, and Esther 7, 3 to 10. So that's quite a lot of Bible reading that you have to do to understand the scripture and then how to apply it. And basically it's good for us as immigrants because we are people who are foreigners, basically. And Esther became queen, so she became a citizen, but she was still a Jew. She was still considered an outsider, just like us. And so for today, the questions that we have here, the study questions, it says, what does it say about the leadership culture of Persia that anyone who approached the king without being summoned would be executed unless the king gave a sign to do otherwise? So it shows a command and control culture. It's the same as when I worked at BMO. I had gone and I had left a box of chocolates at Credit Suisse for the team there. And they said, oh yeah, leave it, it's fine. Sorry, nobody can come out right now to meet you because they're all in meetings. But don't worry about it, we'll give it to them when they come out. I said, okay, thank you. The next thing, they issued a cease and desist against me. So that tells you a lot about the culture. It tells you a lot about, they are like the kings in the Bible. They have a command and control culture. And then one of the executive I worked with, when I first started working in Canada at TD, he moved on. He went to work in England. I wanted to go with him. He told me I don't have the budget. It would have been nice because I knew him, I knew his wife, I knew their children, but he said no. Anyway, I landed up working under his team at BMO on a contract. And I had gone and I had left very out of good intentions. I had made some brownies and I had taken them and left them. I got a nasty email saying you can't just go. And I had the permission of the director to go and leave it. So I was like, you know what, bugger this. You can't just go. I don't just go. I asked for permission to go. So it tells you a lot about cultures in companies. And if you don't have that trust and you can't approach your leadership, it doesn't leave you with a good feeling. So it shows you that some of the things that happened in the Bible days, they're still happening now. It's not the voice of the employees, of the people that they're serving that's important to them. It's their voice. It's what they want to do. And they are making the decision and you have to live with it. So that's the type of culture that Esther was living under. because the voice of the people was not important, only the king and his people. And then the second one was, why do you think Esther delayed communicating her request to King Xerxes? So she had waited 30 days and the king hadn't called her. So she was respecting their culture. She was waiting to see, is the king going to call me or the king's not going to call me? If it was your life, wouldn't you also wait? I would also wait and say, oh, let me see if the king invites me. Let me see if the rulers invite me or not. Unless you've been given a mandate, like we were given a mandate with some of our volunteering, that it's up to you. You approach them. You ask for their time. You ask for their sharing of resources, knowledge. You approach them. So that's very different. So she was waiting to see if this king would call her, and he didn't call her. And then she spoke to her uncle, and her uncle told her, don't think that because you are in the king's house, you alone of all the Jews will escape. Because she was worried about their lives, about the lives of her people. And then she told her uncle Mordecai, I'll go to the king, even though it's against the law, and if I perish, I perish. Because it was that important to her that she was willing to go, and she was willing to take this chance and go and see him and to talk to him. So the scriptures are there. You can read them and you can see what Esther did as queen, how she went out on a limb for her people, and the response of the king, how he protected her. But basically she had put her life on the line because she feared God and she trusted her uncle's words as well, even though she knew that she would be taking a risk for her life because he had raised her. He knew the laws of the land, he knew the faith, and he knew the discrimination that the Jewish people were facing at that time. So, but those are my thoughts on it. You can always get the book, or I can help to facilitate a guided group. I am looking for opportunities to build ministry work. I'm looking for opportunities to get an income coming in. And there are a lot of people doing what I'm doing. It's not just me. When I join Roddy's calls on a Saturday, it's to learn from other people, to learn from other pastors, other faith leaders, other people who are not necessarily here. They might be in Ghana, they might be in Kenya, they might be in America, they might be in England. That's why I'm joining, because then I can learn from them. And if people hear of opportunities for me, then they can contact me, or they can contact Roddy and put my name forward. Because obviously my goal is not to sit at home and not use my skills and talents. That's not the point of going to school, of studying, of becoming educated. It's to help others and to get an income coming in. And then just to sum up this section, because I'm finished with this section now on courage, it says in the 3 passages that we covered, Joshua, Elijah, and Esther, what was at stake for each leader and the people involved. So for all 3 of them, it was their future at stake, it was their lives at stake, as well as the people that were following them. And they were relying on God's promises and God's provision to come through for them. How much courage did it take for each of the leaders to take action? In Joshua and Elijah's case, God had commanded them to do what they did, but in Esther's case, he had not. What could have gone wrong? So with Joshua, it took a lot of courage because they were going as foreigners into a land, and with Elijah as well. I mean, he was taunting those people. He was laughing at them, saying that, let's see what your God can do. And with Esther as well, they were outsiders. They were not accepted. Esther was accepted because of her relationship with the king. But if she didn't have that relationship, it wouldn't have worked out for her. It could have been her life. She could have been put in jail. She could have been executed. Anything could have happened to her. And then how do you know when to take courageous action as a leader? What principles or factors inform your decision making? So we have to assess the land. We have to assess what are the chances of success, as well as relying on God. And ask ourselves the question, what would we give our lives for? What are we living for? And I think it's a good question to ask, because if we're not living for something, we might as well give up. Might as well. And then taking action, think about your current leadership role and how would you be able to help the people you lead. What courageous action is God asking you to take as a leader? Describe it. So for me, I'm in a faith community. I'm a Christian leader. I help everyone, but I look out for my own community. I speak up for them. I engage with politicians when I'm asked to. And when people actually help us, I say thank you, because it doesn't happen that often that people help us. And it's not easy. It's very difficult. When they tell us, oh, you need to write to your MP or call your MPs or email them, tell them about these issues that we're having. It's not easy, because there are many people that lose their lives because of it, or they lose their jobs, or they resign. Like with COVID, many people resign from their jobs because they didn't want to take those vaccines. It's the same as now. Our political leader was invited to President Trump's inauguration. He didn't go. So that's our biggest trading partner. To me, it wasn't a very good decision, but then I'm not him. So anyway, we'll see what the future holds. And then what can you do to become strong and courageous? So I'm doing what I can. I'm reading my Bible. I'm trying to network with like-minded people and who have good values. They might not think like me. They might help me see things from a different perspective. But I'm doing what I can to keep myself strong and to keep myself courageous and to do whatever I can. It's like when I go out, I was telling my cousin, when I go out sometimes I see homeless men in my area. And I never used to stop and talk to them, because some of them have mental health problems. They start defecating in front of you, or they expose themselves in front of you. So I just walk past them. But there was one homeless guy. He was a young man, and he used to always sit there with his dog. And one day he started talking to me. He said, "Hello, miss, can you please stop and talk to me?" So I used to stop and talk to him. And then he used to tell me, "Oh, I'm going to get out of this. I'm looking for some money. I want to go and get a room. I don't want to go to the shelters because the shelters are not nice." So I used to buy him sometimes a coffee or a muffin or do something small for him. But I try in my own small way to do what I can. And with what I earn and with what I've gone through, it's not always easy. Because I could easily I don't go and buy things from Tim Hortons. I could easily say, I'm going to treat myself to this Tim Hortons this week. But I try to do things like that. And I try to do it on a daily basis. I'm still helping with the One campaign with the initiatives. I'm still helping with different things in the church. I'm trying to serve others and not just to serve myself and my own selfish interests. Because believe you me, I have become very selfish after everything I've gone through. And my mother also told me, she's like, put yourself first. You're always worrying about other people. Put yourself first. So I'm trying to do that now. And then group discussion questions. Who was the greatest leader? Moses, who led the Israelites out of Egypt, or Joshua, who led the Israelites into the promised land? Explain your answer. So I would say that it was Joshua, because he had complete faith in God. He obeyed the Lord and he trusted him fully. With Moses, there were some things and there were some situations where he went wrong sometimes, and he didn't get to enter the promised land. It's the same thing like with my mother's sponsorship. I was the one that had to do everything. I had to go and meet the MPs. I had to write to them, talk to them. And because of my life, she was able to come to Canada. It's not easy here. She still has to go to the food bank. She still has to deal with the isolation. She misses her old friends. She misses that lifestyle that we had in Zimbabwe. And I miss it too. I told Cyril Ramaphosa, like, you must be kidding. You're selling the sob story to these people here at the World Economic Forum, and look at your land. Look at what you've got, your cars, your houses, the beauty of South Africa, and look at that, and here we're using the food bank. Come on. I told him, I said, take me home. Take me home so I can also have that lifestyle. Now he wants to go and take the lands away by force like they did in Zimbabwe. Then everybody's going to run away. They're going to go to Zambia, go to Australia, and then they're going to come here to Canada and struggle like me. Say, oh, for our children's future. For our children's future. You guys, you don't know how hard it is here. Like, honestly, you don't. I'm not the only one going through this. There's so many Zimbabweans, South Africans, Nigerians going through the same thing. If Cyril Ramaphosa gives me a job tomorrow, you think I'm going to stay here? I'm not going to stay. Because there's corruption everywhere. There's greed everywhere. There's good and bad everywhere in the world. If I can go home and have my Alfa Romeo and my Porsche and my big house with a swimming pool and all the fruit trees and see all that game, the zebra, impala, elephants, lions, you think I'm going to stay here? You must be kidding. And serve Justin Trudeau when he's supposed to be serving the public. I won't stay. You must be kidding. What was your reaction when you read how God responded to Elijah's request on Mount Carmel by burning up the sacrifice, the water, and even the stones? What was your reaction when he directed all the prophets of Baal to be slaughtered? Why do you think he did that? So I was amazed because first Elijah taunted them. He said, okay, let's take 2 bulls. You put your bull there, we'll put ours here. And then he laughed at them. And then on top of that, he didn't pour water over the stone and the trench and the bull once. He did it 3 times. And then he prayed, and then the thing got burnt up. I'm like, yeah, what if it didn't get burnt up? What if God didn't answer your prayer? Then what? So, and in those days, they didn't have mercy like today. It's like, oh, the Muslims beheaded us. Now you come here and you watch what we'll do to you. That's how they were. If they were going to behead us Christians and do it and put it on social media and all that, if it was back in the day, they would have said, oh yeah, now it's your turn. Now you watch what we're going to do to you. They wouldn't have shown any mercy. I was kind of surprised that he did that actually, because normally they don't normally react that way in the Bible stories I've read, unless there's a war or something going on. They don't normally turn around and kill the people who worship other gods. And then the third question, what assurance did Esther have that God would rescue her and her people? So she only had her faith to go on. She only had her faith. There was nothing else. The king could have killed her. There's so many situations like through history where you see the royalty turning around and killing each other, beheading people. Even in France, there's been stories like that. The fourth question, which leader in the passages do you relate to most? Why? So obviously for me it's Esther, because she's a woman. She's the outsider. She's a citizen, but she's also a foreigner. And the king has control. It's just like us. Just like what Rishi Sunak did. Rishi Sunak put everybody on a plane and he said, you go. Go back to your country. And he's Indian. So just like us, they can tell us tomorrow, you go. They're deporting people in America, here in Canada. They could say, okay, you go. Go. We'll pay for your ticket. You go back to South Africa. Go work with Cyril Ramaphosa. We'll organize a job for you. Go. I say, yeah, okay, I'll go. It's not like I'm earning millions here. It's not like I have a big fat bank account and like everything's fallen into place for me. They're deporting people. I know they're deporting people. Even I came here legally. So maybe with Donald Trump, he's deporting the illegal people. But they do whatever they want. So. And then the fifth question, in what kinds of situations do you most often respond with courage, and in which do you have a difficult time? Why do you think that is? So I have difficulty with the governments and with the elders, because they always know better. They have more life experience than you. They think their ideas are going to work for my generation. And it's not necessarily always the case. It's not always true. Just because they are fit and healthy and strong and they had people come around them and they have family gatherings and all that, then it's like, you know what, leave me alone. If you're happy with your life and you can exercise and you can do all those things, just leave me alone, because I know what's good for my body. I know what's good for me. Don't come and impose what you want onto my life, because my life is also a gift. And even Khalil Gibran says that your children are a gift to you. They're not there for you to control their lives. But for me, it's very, very hard. It's very hard because I get it from all sides. And the only thing I can do is pray and put my faith in God. Question 6, what is the role of courage in leading others? Courage is there to help us to make things better for us, for our lives and other people. If our lives are deteriorating and not getting better, and everybody else's life is getting better, how is that good for us? It's not good. And question 7, what courageous actions do you believe God is asking you to take in your leadership? When and how will you do it? So for me, it's focusing on building people up. It's encouragement. And also finding the leaders politically who are standing strong in their faith and who are helping our communities. Because really and truly, by now, things should have started getting better for me. Not like, oh yeah, you're the best, and oh yeah, every time we need somebody, let's call on Belinda. But then when the opportunities come up for good paying jobs, for travel, like Bono getting his awards, does he think of me? Does he say, oh yeah, you know what, Belinda's done a lot for us over the years, let's invite her? He doesn't. I got a shock when the Carter Foundation sent me that invitation to come to Jimmy Carter's memorial. I was like, what? I don't know these people. I got a shock. I didn't do anything for them. I did nothing for them. Nothing. I just sent my condolences and I followed them online a few times. That's it. How many years have I been volunteering with Bono? How many years? That's why now I told him, find me someone else. Find me a celebrity or somebody I can work with who's going to give me the same privileges and the same treatment that you gave Gail and that you're giving Ndidi. Because that's what I want. That's what I worked all these years for. I didn't work all these years and practice my piano and all that to be sitting and playing it and just putting it online and signing petitions and then saying yes to being a parliamentary riding leader, putting my life at risk for him. He doesn't come out and do the volunteer work with us. It's us. We are the courageous ones. We are the ones on the ground doing the work, writing the emails, sending the petitions. He gets the money from the church, and then he gives it to the charities or his music or wherever, government foundations. That's why I told them, now find me someone else, because you're not giving me the opportunity to earn a living with you. And yes, I'm volunteering and my skills are helping the new people coming in. But really and truly, put my name there and give it to someone else. Let me work instead of wasting my life here. And I've strengthened them, all of them. People don't believe I'm Bono's volunteer because many times, even when he did his book launch, I tried to get a ticket. I couldn't. By the time they put me back in the queue, the tickets were $3,000, $3,000 to $10,000 to go listen to him speak. There were no tickets set aside for us. Then I wrote to all the bookstores where he had signed the copies of his book and left them. Not one of them came back to me. I told them, I'm a volunteer with Bono. I would like to get a signed copy of his book. They didn't even reply to me. So, you know what? These people think that I'm a sex worker or a prostitute or something because they don't believe me when I say that I'm his volunteer. And he knows I'm his volunteer. He knows. Bono knows. Adam knows. Larry knows. And the Edge know. They know me. So it's ridiculous. That's why I told him, I'm tired of this. Give my name to somebody else who's going to employ me and give me a paid opportunity and let me work. Because when I left TD in 2007, they told me you should be earning over $100,000 a year. So now I'm applying for those jobs. I never stopped, but I'm applying in the US for those kinds of jobs. And if I get it under Donald Trump, I will get it and I will go. Because I'm tired of living like this. It's not fair to me. And it's not fair to all the people following me, the people I've developed, all the managers that I worked under. It's not fair. So that's my courage for me, for my life. Even when I went to South Africa, I didn't know anybody there. And the people, they picked me up from the airport, they left me and they went. They didn't even come in to say, okay, Belinda, let's see where you're staying. Let's help you settle in. Let's, keep in touch. They picked me up. They left me at Sunnyside and they went at Wits. It took courage. So I am a courageous person. I'm not a timid, fearful person. And I want things to work out for me the same way they've worked out for the people that I've supported and that I've helped. I don't want to just see others coming up in life and my life is deteriorating. That's not God's promise for me. Why would I be joining organizations fighting poverty, fighting to end poverty, for people to have good paying jobs, supporting the development goals, the sustainable development goals, fighting for equal rights for everybody? Why would I do that if my own rights are not being respected? It's a farce. That's why I told him. I told Cyril Ramaphosa so many times, take me. I want to come home. His government knows who I am. I told him so many times to take me. Now Duma Boko is there. He went to Harvard. Let's see. I hope one of them takes me because this is ridiculous. I am tired of it. I'm standing strong in God's word and on God's promises. And I want that good paying job for me. I'm not just doing it for the sake of it to say, oh, it's a gift. Yeah, it's a gift. But you know what? When you work hard, you also want things to work out for you.